Evo mene, drugari, opet. A uželeo sam vas, jel? I imam jednu jako dobru temu za razgovor, a to je proces reinkarnacije i da li je to zamka kako bi naše duše bile lišavane energije na ovoj planeti, kako bi nam krali energiju, jel? Kako bi prosto ti entiteti koji su kidnapovali, jel, planetu Zemlju, kako da kažem, jel, našu realnost, imali neiscrpan izvor hrane. Pričao sam u nekim od mojih videa o arkonima i eonima, o tom gnostičkoj filozofiji koja datira od davnina. Sada, jedna žena je napravila interesantan video gde tvrdi da je imala srčani udar i gde je videla pravu realnost, odnosno pravo mesto gde se ljudi zaista nalaze, znači da je ovo samo hologramska projekcija prave stvarnosti. I da se u toj pravoj stvarnosti ljudi nalaze u kapsulama punim vode sa cevčicama, kao u Matrixu, jel? Znači nepregledno polje, gde je tamno, nema ništa u tom nivou, na toj planeti ili šta god da je toj stvarnosti, dimenziji, kako god, realno, jel? I ona tu objašnjava, da vam ne dužim mnogo, ukratko da vam ispričam, kako postoji par nivoa te, kako da je nazovem, organizacije, jel? Postoji kontrolna soba, postoji soba gde su ljudi, jel, u tim kapsulama, koja nema kraja na izgled, jel? I postoji realnost slična našoj, s tim što postoje mnogo visoke zgrade modernog dizajna sa zelenilom okolo. Pominjala je da je pomalo podsjeća na Edemski vrt, jel? Po Bibliji. Samo malo, jel, drugačije opisan nego u Bibliji. I da se tu nalaze neka vrsta humanoidna, jel, vrsta koja nas je od uvek, kako da kažem, vodila, jel? Oni su zapravo naši prijatelji, po znacima navoda, jer mi ne znamo da li je to istina ili nešto ta žena priča. Ali ajde da pustimo taj klip, deo tog klipa tačnije, jel? Pa da vidite i sami.
Say first, just to share my credibility for a moment. In my first NDE, I was shown that I was a seraphim angel. So that's how I know I'm an angel. And I'm a very well-educated person. I'm a mom and a wife. I've been a certified teacher. I've been to seminary. I pay my bills. I do all the things. I'm right with myself. I'm good in my skin. And I navigate this life where I help people. I officiated a funeral the other day. I'm in this earth to be a human. And also what's inside of me, I am an angel. I'm not religious. I'm more spiritual, but that's who I am. And part of that DNA in me is that I've been shown throughout my life elements of this existence that not everybody else sees. And the motive behind that is I see it first, I digest it, and then when it's time, I'm supposed to share that message because angels are messengers. We're not special, we're just messengers. And so this is one of those messages.
Now, when I first heard that, I thought, okay, she'd been told maybe in these various NDEs that this is who she is and she is an angel. But then I thought, okay, well, this could clearly be a manipulation from entities or from the archons or from whoever it may be during these spiritual encounters that they told her this. And now she's believed it. Like it could be a misconception of sorts, but I don't know. When you hear the entire video, she's very aware of the manipulation that happens when you go into these NDEs, the light, the whole thing. So I don't know much about angels. I don't know much about the role of angels in this universe or in this multiverse, whatever. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm going to take her at her word for how she feels about herself. Like, I just don't know. Either way, you're going to see as you hear her speak that if I'm to use my discernment, it just feels, it feels authentic. That's what I'll say. It feels very authentic. And especially with everything we've been hearing from the remote viewing accounts that seem to corroborate exactly what she's saying, except for what she's saying is in vivid detail. Now, I do think possibly that some of the information that she received in this experience was manipulated intentionally, and there's a lot to go through here. So I'll be chiming in and explaining it at those moments when I think certain things have been manipulated and maybe when certain things she's relaying correctly. But anyways, without further ado, let's get into the mix. We got a lot of content to go through, a lot of clips. This one I think is a particularly long one, so I may be interjecting here and there. I'll do my best to not interrupt too much, but now we get in to the good stuff, the NDE and what she saw in what I believe is base reality.
I was having a heart attack. And so I was laying in bed with my husband. I was laying on my side, and I felt my whole body seize up. And it started at the heart, and then it went through the rest of my body, very much like a lightning bolt or an electric pulse all of a sudden. And it didn't hurt. It just was strong. And the next thing I know, I was being pulled from my body, and I was being pulled from my wings. So it's like if you were wearing a backpack and someone was saying, okay, this way, little one. I was being pulled this way, and I was being pulled up. And what I saw was it felt like I was about 40 feet above my bed. I was looking at myself and my husband, and I was looking through a control room. And there were other humans there, and there were computers. This was like a control room. And they could see my body, my husband's body, and then the rest of the control room.
So real quick, I'm not exactly sure. This part is a little confusing to me, but it's almost like she was pulled interdimensionally. It's not like she traveled a long distance, just yanked out, boom, and then she's popped into base reality, where then she can look back into this planet or the simulation or the simulacra, I think is one of the words that people use. It's just what I think she is saying. I'm not totally sure what the transportation process was to get back to this control room.
It had no ceiling. It was an enormous, infinite place full of other humans, and they all had their job to do. But when they noticed that I was there, they noticed, and their expression was, oh, she's here. Oh, she's here. And then they made a phone call. I waited there for a moment, and another human came in, a man, and he gave me a tour. He said, we know we've been expecting you. We didn't know when, but we're here to show you what this place is. This is Soul Earth Exile 13. Don't touch anything. We're just going to show you these different levels.
Okay. So what my take is on this initial clip, when I first listened to that, I thought, okay, so they said, oh, she's here. Oh, she's here. That to me felt as though she wasn't meant to be there, but this could potentially be happening if everybody is in the space reality and they're kind of immersed in this matrix, kind of like in the movie. Occasionally there could be glitches in the matrix or glitches in the system, and we pop out of this matrix and kind of back into base reality in some form. It seems like in an avatar form, right? Obviously, your body's not coming out of the pod, but your consciousness is popping back into base reality for some whatever reason. And so it must be happening on a relatively frequent basis, so they know when it happens what to do. But to me, the way that sounded was, oh, then we got to play along like, oh, she's here. Okay. Oh, so yeah, we were expecting you. It's all good. We're going to show you what Soul Earth Exile 13 is, like, as if they have a protocol for the entities or the souls or the energy bodies that pop back into that reality to kind of explain things in a way that keeps them calm and then eventually gets them to come back and return to whatever is happening here for energy generation, for information extraction, as intuitive underground believes is happening in this simulation. So that was my 2 cents. Now, by the way, when she says Soul Earth Exile 13, when I first heard this, I thought she was talking about that's what base reality is. No, she's talking about this planet within this universe, within this simulation, if you will. It is called Soul Earth Exile 13. She explains, I believe in this next clip, why it's called Soul Earth Exile 13. But here she now goes on to the description that she gets of these various levels in what I'm going to just call base reality, because she calls it base reality later on in this interview.
First level I was shown was this level where they didn't show me what any of these levels were called, but I'll call it the control room. And as I was looking around, all of these people were at these control boards, and they were looking at different parts of the world. I saw people sleeping. I saw people at their jobs. I saw different parts of the country. This was all Earth. There are people simply watching, typing things. They were talking to each other. I will also tell you that when we moved into the house where I'm moving now, which was after this NDE, the first night we moved here, I heard someone say, the family is now asleep. And I heard that same voice when I was in this NDE. And it was the woman that was overseeing the computer at our house. So I had this fade in of that control room. I could hear them talking about our family. So I was not allowed to talk to her, but these people could see me, and they were not alarmed to see me. It's like I was just there on a tour. So we went through these big doors, and there was this elevator, and we got on the elevator, and it seemed to go down forever. And when we finally stopped, we went to this level where there were a bunch of people coming in that seemed like they were there for the first time. They were confused. Some of them were scared, and they were talking to each other about where they were from. One person was from Denver. One person was from Japan. And they were all trying to talk to each other. No one knew what was going on. Then they were told to stand in a line. A door opened. They walked through the door. I was able to follow with this tour guide and stood at the back of the wall and watched what happened. And these people were simply told, you'll be able to ask questions later. You are safe. Be with us. Just follow along for now. And the thing that was talking to them looked like a human, but it was a humanoid. It was this AI being. And these people naturally were saying, where are we? What is this? I was asleep and I woke up here. So it was clear that all of these people, this wasn't an NDE for them. They had been asleep and they thought that they were dreaming. And they said, you are not dreaming. Your body is asleep, but you are here. So I was able to follow these people through their journey. And that's why I was there. I was observing. So I followed these people. They went to the next level, and they were shown that they were going to go through a certain cycle of now being on this planet that they were calling, or this. Actually, Jeff, I don't know if it's a planet or a dimension. I don't really know. I'm hearing from Gabriel Planet, Soul Earth Exile 13. And they went into this next room where they were given this kind of, what do you call it when you have your first job? Orientation. And they said, you will be here and you will, for as long as it takes, you will be trained to be in this space and work here for a designated amount of time. This is not a punishment. And these people just went nuts for a second. And then one man in the room said to everybody else, he was a peer, he was there with them. He said, I've been here before, don't freak out. If you freak out, they're going to take you from the room. And he said, just trust me. Trust me. So everybody kind of calmed down a little bit. A woman was asking, how long will we be here? And the humanoid that was guiding them said, I cannot tell you that. Just be here with me now, and you can ask questions later. So some time passed. The next thing I remember was that these people were in another room. They had different clothes on now, and they had been given an assignment. And their assignment was to see where they were living. They were living in this kind of apartment complex, but it was very barren. They had places to sleep where their place to sleep was just kind of metal. They had a comfortable bed on there, but it was just metal. They had a sink, they had a toilet, they had windows. It was separated men and women. And then the work that they did was actually not work at all. They went to these kind of classes where they would be asked questions about their life. What did they remember about their life? And then if they passed these questions, they would go on to a next level.
I got to pause because you know what this reminds me of? So I was saying that.
I sad vi meni kažete, dragi moji, posle ovog klipa koji ste odgledali sada, šta vi mislite o svemu ovome? Ja mislim da nemam odgovor na to. Jel? Ostao sam bez teksta. A iskreno, ta priča mi ima pomalo rupa i nedoslednosti, jel? Ali opet, sve je moguće. Jedino što bih uradio na mestu te žene, a što ona nije uradila, spomenuo bi ime našeg Gospoda Isusa Hrista. Ja mislim da bi automatski ta realnost krenula da gličuje, jel, da baguje, da... I evo, ovo je sve od mene, dragi moji, za sada za vas u ovom klipu. Pozdravljam vas puno. Ćao.